Town Band Banter with Doc and Dave. Every week, two longtime friends and colleagues in the world of music, David Price and Donald Doc Smith, get together to discuss the triumphs as well as the twists and turns of lifelong learning for the dedicated members of thousands of civilian community music ensembles of every shape and size. Your comments and suggestions are always welcomed through email as info@townbandbanter.com, Facebook, Town Band Banter, and Instagram, #TownBandBanter. And now for our hosts, Doc and Dave.
All right, Dave, you ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. Season 3, Episode 1.
Oh, man.
Another season. Yeah. Like, can you believe it? We survived the first two.
Yeah.
And they went so well. Yep. I just gave you that outline of all the episodes that we did and the topics that we covered. Yep. And with 3 trips to New York, 1 to Providence, which being from
and
Rhode
the way
Island,
you drive, it was heart-stopping trips.
You know what? Yeah, it took all about the same amount of time. Yes.
By the way, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this is a special day. It's a very special day.
Why is that?
It was 2 years ago today that I was in the middle of heart surgery.
Oh, my gosh. There you go. On Halloween.
On Halloween.
Because, that's how you remembered it. And it's like Halloween, I feel terrible. You have like your hat on. I should have had a costume or something like that. Do you remember?
Well, if I take the hat off, of course, then you have dealings with the light.
We have
shining
a
off
glare or something like that. Yeah. So let me, maybe I could help the other way around. Remember when it was right after you left, we did Shrek. So everyone in the band, including the conductor, had to wear one of these. And I just recently found that. So that would be one costume. But then the other night we did the Jamestown Community Band. Yeah. And it was, let me see if I can find this. Okay. We needed a costume, and I was coming home from this incredible trip, and hopefully the flights made it on time to get me back in last Friday, but I needed a very simple costume. So I put on my doctoral robe, which I paid a lot of money for it, so I figured I better use it.
Might as well use it somewhere.
And this, so Einstein, that worked pretty well.
Nice touch.
It was a nice touch. It worked out. It was easy, except that occasionally these things would get like in my road. But then not as bad as a couple years ago. I'm going through my entire repertoire of Halloween costumes here. I was Jack Sparrow.
Oh, wow. That's
with
a
this,
cool
with
hat.
And it has that hair and stuff like that.
Right,
it takes a little bit more maintenance, and it wasn't made for having headphones on.
You're right.
Like whatever. Yeah. And then the very first time I did it, but the problem with that, when I was conducting, I kept getting caught in the hair.
Right, yeah.
But I never practiced these things conducting. I just put on the costume. The worst one was this one. Because it's like I was like smashing into things, but I had a whole outfit for mariachi, which is I'm really connected to that. I think I told you one of the first things that sold for me on the things that I'm publishing and the Sheet Music Plus and Direct was a mariachi band arrangement in Germany. Go figure.
Of all things.
What is that all about? So I think I'll just go without the costume.
You look normal in the hat. You look frightening enough as it is.
And as long as you're not dressing like you dressed a few years ago, like on this day.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Like, and your energy is much better.
Yeah,
but it took a while to recover, right?
It really did. It took over a year, and I'm still. It's hard to figure what is more medical, how much is just an old guy thing, an old guy stuff.
And that's one of the topics we're covering. Like, that's what we haven't done a cardiologist yet. We need to get what we do are groups of doctors with specialties who are performing musicians, so they can speak from that way. And we had Dr. Julie Roth was fantastic on cognitive, and then Dr. Tomato down in New York. We had the general practitioner, Joe England, who was the founder of the Jamestown Band.
Yep.
And who else was it? In our band, Marvin Wasser.
Oh, yeah.
He was a pediatrician talking about how much impact that has on kids. So we've done those 4. And then we've done the Doctor of Music Education, like I have.
Yep.
Open your mouth and say, It's a different kind of doctor. Used to get good parking at hospitals. Yeah. As they say, doctor's park. They changed the sign to physician's parking.
Yeah.
So now I don't get.
It's no good. You don't get that privilege.
I just don't get that parking anymore.
And speaking of that, with the heart issue and playing music and things of that sort, and as I've said probably ad nauseum with these podcasts, is I've taken up the instrument of French horn. I'm trying to.
Is that you back there?
Yeah, I know. It's hard
where
to
all
believe.
Those strange sounds were coming from.
They're very strange sounds. But one of the things I have noticed And you probably noticed that the same thing has probably happened to you, I'm sure. But one of the things I've noticed is that in playing French horn, even though it's not very good, that when I'm done with the rehearsal playing French horn,
Right.
I am so full of, I have all this energy.
You better finish that sentence.
Now,
because, like at our age, it could be gas.
No,
it could be a lot of things.
It could be a lot of things. I'm energized,
right, yeah.
and I think it probably is because of just the oxygenation that happens.
I think that's absolutely true. And then think about the people around you, the relief that you're done playing. But I think you're absolutely right. I didn't want to forget that.
Wait, that's not fair.
I didn't want to forget that point.
But that is, I think that might be something therapeutically that could be looked at with a cardiologist.
Cardiologist. So, we're also talking about respiratory. Was one of the, and then audio and visual doctors are going to be high on the list, right? We just had 2 members of our, in fact, one was the doctor I mentioned earlier, Joe, right? Mm-hmm. Both of them had eye surgery, and rather intense eye surgery, not just cut like the simple stuff that we older folks have to go through, but they're rather intense. And Joe said, I'm not going to be able to play for 3 weeks until I get clearance to do that because of the pressure and everything else. Right. And Tom, who sits next to him on bass clarinet, said he comes back and he's playing away, and Joe's sitting there just listening, being at the rehearsal like a good guy. And Tom brings up, he goes, I had pretty intense surgery earlier this week. He goes,
oh, great.
Well, what did your doctor say about playing? He goes, we didn't talk about that. And apparently both of them are fine, but you need to, so it'd probably be a good idea to bring that up with an eye doctor, and not just the vision at night driving home from rehearsals.
Oh, yeah.
Some
that
band
has
members
become a factor, by the way. Another old guy factor.
No, but that's like I'd give a ride to someone. She's not so much the visual, but she had cardiac event last year, and that changed things for her energy-wise and stuff. So to have her continue with the band, she lives near me, so we just pick her up and give her a ride, and always enjoyed talking to her. And we're both golfers too, so we talk about golfing.
Right.
I don't know what that has to do with Tom Banter.
No,
just banter. It's like file it under general.
I'm sure
banter.
we can find some way to tie it all together. But
all right, so we need to look for more of those. That's one of the things we're going to definitely do this season. Another thing that I'm looking forward to doing is solving this issue. That what did we learn from seasons past? And number one is that our audience, the target audience for this kind of a podcast, are not the kind of people that watch podcasts.
All right.
So we need to find a way to spread that out and let other folks know about it. And I wish that'd be the case. We're getting good viewership, enough to be qualified to monetize. We just haven't taken that step yet, but we're qualified to monetize. But I have a feeling that there's so many people that take part in this activity that there should be more people listening to this because they could benefit from what we're talking about. At least I hope so, or whatever.
There we go. We point at you. You could benefit from this.
Particularly the people listening on the audio only. You could just feel that finger coming at you auditorially. Yeah. And another big thing that we have, and also a new addition that people are watching on YouTube. You notice right now, down on this corner, there's a little dot that says subscribe. So we're hoping to add some subscriptions. That adds on a lot for the monetization and all of that. Not that we're going to make a lot of money, but it'd be nice to pay for. You bought these mics, and that was the other thing I learned this morning. It never fails that you have to update all of this software. There's so many different layers of software that it seems like every time we do one of these, one of them needs to be updated, and it changes all kinds of things in it. So this morning I turned it on just to make sure it was going to work, and it said the build had expired on October 29th. Wednesday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's great. So I'm thinking, this horror show goes through my mind that I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to need to redo everything. Turned it on, and it went right to record.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like the easiest transition ever.
Now, if I had done it, the whole thing would have
Well, usually when these companies fix things, it just messes everything up on the other layers. Something in another layer won't work. So hopefully I'm not jinxing myself.
Yes,
we still have to process it, but so far we're using Descript, and thank you Descript for this update, at least looking like it's running smoother right now.
Yeah.
Keep our fingers crossed. So the big thing that I wanted to talk about is something that came up with our very first, most popular guest up until recently. Another episode is taken, and that was Dr. Sandra Enos in the episode 3 in season 1, Sociologist Meets Band. And that was the most popular for good reason. She's brilliant. She's an amazing woman, decided at age 75 to try a band instrument.
Yeah.
She got her doctorate at age 50. Everything was a little bit later, but she had all this experience doing work in sociology field that she added a really cool touch to the academic side of everything. And she certainly adds a lot to this. And remember our young alto sax player, this is 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it was last year. The first time he made All-State. In this state, you can make All-State in junior high school. In Pennsylvania, where I came from, Connecticut as well, there's no junior division. Right. There's just there's just All-State.
I don't remember a junior division.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, there's 12 districts. There's 4, and then you re-audition when you get to district band, chorus, and orchestra, and jazz. To qualify for regional, there's 4 regions. Yep. And then you re-audition for seating in that, and that qualifies you for All-State if you're not a senior. They used to have it that All-State would be the next year. And so if you were above a junior, so I qualified, but I was a senior. So I wasn't going to be there, so I missed it that way. But it was cool. But it's all over the place and amazing. Some states have multiple All-States because it's just so large. Texas, I think, is one that they have multiple All-States. But we made a big deal out of it. He was excited. And he was on alto sax, too, which is a really competitive instrument. There are less competitive instruments.
There's a ton of people on it.
Oh, yeah, for very few seats. So we made a big deal out of it. She came up to me after, and this is the first time she had ever heard of All-State. She goes, there's All-State for junior division and senior division. Why isn't there Old State? And I'm thinking, why not? My God, what a great question.
It is, yeah.
And that's very much what we're after. So she and I have been working with Ollie Osher, which kind of is
explain to the real world what that is.
No, it is. It's up 50 and above. Go to the university. You join it for a small fee, and then you pay a really small fee to take different courses and stuff like that. And they do some travel. They do all kinds of things.
Yeah, but the course is designed for senior citizens.
It's designed for seniors, and some of them are mixed with honors classes with students at the university and graduate students, so that they get a little taste of the experience. What we were just talking about, the experience, the life lessons that older folks learned talking about the same topic, and then the energy of the younger folks. Although Sandra's pretty energetic.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have low energy anymore either. But so we looked into this, and we talked to Ali, and we just had our first meeting. And it looks like it's going to fly. There's a lot of steps to go through yet. The music building, which would host it, would have the facilities, is still under construction. So I'm not sure. We're targeting August of 2026. But that'll be something certainly that we're going to promote for here in Rhode Island. But I could also see it being something that would work nationally or internationally.
Why not?
Because there's people all over the place. So that's something I'd like our podcast to champion and promote. And so you're going to be hearing more about that as we go through the process. And
I like the name.
Yeah.
Old.
Well, no, we're not going to. I don't like that name.
Oh, come on.
So we're still fighting over this. Branding is very important. Right. So what I think I'm leaning toward is All-State Golden Division.
Oh, my God.
You like Old State, huh? I don't know. It sounds like something you're going in to be treated for, as opposed to something you enjoy.
Don't know.
Basically, and we have.
Well, you're probably right. A lot of people don't have a sense of humor when it comes to that sort of thing. But I just which one are you going to remember first?
Yeah, probably. Maybe
that was always the thing.
A little bit of both of them, yeah. I don't know. But make it a simple thing, Saturday or Sunday, sometime in the weekend, have rehearsals in the morning, get music out to people. We're still trying to figure out how to audition or how do we select the people that are in it. That will be like Jamestown band we've covered is it's a select ensemble. Whoever selects to be in it is in it.
Thankfully.
I guess to start something like this is probably going to have to be like that, but it's certainly for our age level can't be a note from mom but it could be a recommendation from our contact points are going to be the directors of community choruses, community bands, community orchestras, and anything like that'll be how we'll advertise it. And then a letter of recommendation or something from those people, from those conductors, might be all we need. So keep that simple. Get music out to them so that they show up in the morning, do a rehearsal, run through and performance, about 20 minutes per group. And I'm thinking a band, an orchestra, and a chorus, the Holy Trinity, we used to call it. Okay. And then go to lunch. and then come back and everyone kind of rotate. We could kind of rotate the lunchtimes too, but rotate who's on stage, do a dress rehearsal, and then a mid-afternoon concert so that everyone could drive home before it gets dark. We're back to that.
That's a factor.
But keep it as simple as possible. Have a setup crew the night before, have a strike crew like right after the concert, and it's just done in one day.
Yeah.
And then move on to the next year. So we're hoping that's going to all work, and we'll keep you posted along those lines. What else are we going to do this season? There were some other notes.
This interesting little quest for music librarians. Isn't that funny? It sounds so dry.
The Holy Grail.
But it's funny because I play down the Westerly band, Westerly, Rhode Island band, and I'm part of their. We have meetings once a month, and I'm the guest conductor there when the other conductor can't make it. So but so they invite me to these things. But always big on the list on what we have to cover in these meetings is the music library. You realize that band has been in existence since the middle of 1860s.
Right.
They have music.
Scrolls? Do you have scrolls?
Yeah, scrolls.
They didn't have music on their iPads at that point.
And we have a couple of ladies that are working very hard to organize this thing.
Right.
But oh my gosh, they have little bits and pieces of parts and things, and some that are written obscure handwriting, and trying to organize it. They don't feel they can throw it out.
Right.
But some of this stuff is archival material from whenever. Nobody's ever going to look at again, but...
Or until you need it, and then
you'll need it.
Gotten rid of it. Yeah.
Right.
And everyone organized it, every librarian or whoever's in charge organized it the right way, which is very different than anyone could possibly imagine in the future. And I've run into that every job I've had.
Yeah.
I've had to reorganize the library.
Yeah.
And I don't have a degree in library skills. Like, I managed to reorganize things. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And try to do it logically, but, the heart of madness is one of the pieces. Is that in the T's or in the H's?
Yes, that's right. How do you go about it?
In library spelling, Tchaikovsky's name is spelled 3 ways correctly. One starting with a C. And the other 2 with T's. And
that's right.
So it's like, where does it really go? What is the right answer? And really, there is no absolute answer except for with the librarian that you currently have. And then there's an absolute answer. But these organizations can't work without a good librarian.
It's absolutely essential.
Right.
In order to find anything. And you have to know what you need, what you don't need. And
to dip back into the old state for a second, too, what I said at the meeting is that what we need, we'll hire for a fee. We'll try to come up with a fair amount for the guest conductors. You need the 3 guest conductors. But the really important person there is the manager of each ensemble. No. The manager for an ensemble in a festival makes it work. Gets the chair set up in the right number in the right place, the right number of stands,
there,
correct percussion. It's good to have just a separate percussion group. For Allstate, we just decided to make that its own little entity. And a couple guys have their fiefdom taking care of percussion for all of the ensembles, including the choruses usually have little things that are added on. But they make sure that they manage that for our All-State Festival. It's pretty amazing how managers make it work. I've done that. I was a grad assistant, so it's kind of like being a grad assistant. Yeah. Because I remember the director of bands at Penn State saying, "Okay, Don, have the stage set up. I'll see you in an hour." And it's like and then if anything was wrong, it's like, "What's wrong with you? Why couldn't you do it?" But there's so many little details that need to be taken care of, and some strength involved too, and the physical side of it. So the managers are really, really important. So we're looking for those key people, which will be interesting in this age group too. I'm sure it might be people who have done it. Will anyone want to do it, knowing that it's that difficult a job? It's easier to sucker a young person into trying something like that.
I suppose. Yeah. Well, it's something they could put on their resume. It's a little bit of a resume builder.
Yeah.
I was the manager for such and such. The first year they had Old State.
Some things you don't want to admit, though. I'm really good at...
Doc, this is an exciting thing.
I'm really good at scrubbing toilets. Do you really want to put that on your resume? Because that's what you're going to end up doing.
Yeah. So you obviously read my resume.
I didn't have to put it on my resume. All I had to do was say, "I do." And that was my job. It became my job. So other things that we're probably going to cover are most of the other podcasts like this are dealing with the music that's coming out, so the composers and the conductors, and they tend to interview just those. And they do a wonderful job with that. I think we could do spins on that with the composers and conductors leaning toward community groups, who was writing for that. In fact, I just talked, we did coffin races by Jason Nitch, and he said he'd like to be part of this, so he'll be here sometime during the season. Seemed like a really cool guy. I'm sure there are others that are going to be like that, but we'll try to add that into the season as well. I think we have a full plate. It's just that we started a little bit late, but that's okay. We'll get going. We're seniors that are retired, and
we can get away with it because we're seniors and we're retired.
Busy. Life gets busy at times. So September and October kind of blew by. And here we are heading into November tomorrow, and I think it'll work out quite well. So we usually do those questions at the end, but I think we could just adapt them for what we did. Like, what was the biggest surprise for you in the last 2 doing this podcast? Were there any things that just like, whoa, I didn't realize we'd go that direction?
Yeah, I think with me, it's not so much a surprise. But how much people that you and I, we've been involved in music in some capacity professionally and in an amateur setting for many, many, many years, all right? Yeah. Especially, you're older than God.
Oh, yeah, it might be easier to say decades at this point.
Decades, just But how special this is, how special a musical experience is for people. And how much what they get out of it, how special that is. And I can just speak personally for my wife, who was a musician and got a degree in music, but she was a pianist. And so she didn't have really the ensemble experience that we had. Right. We didn't have the same sort of thing. And so now she's taken up flute and playing in your band and some other, doing other stuff. Yeah. And she's really having a ball. She loves it. She practices than anybody that I know. She
practices more than anyone else in the band.
Right. And she is very concerned about me when she's practicing. Should I practice? You do whatever you want. Go right ahead. But that was one of the things. How neat this is for people to get to be part of an ensemble and have that ensemble experience. It's a community experience. It is a
I think it changes as you go from rehearsal to rehearsal too. It's different for everyone, every rehearsal. There are those constant themes like you're talking about with staff. Yeah. But I think that, like some rehearsals, if something bad happens at work and you go to the rehearsal and walk out, like you said, all energized and everything else, I always leave there with more energy than when I arrived.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it changes from situation to situation. Certainly when you have a dress rehearsal. No. Get a little bit more care.
This last rehearsal, nothing's going right.
Well, this last dress rehearsal was perfect for that. A perfect example. Right. But I did spill to the band what my theory on all of that is. It's not just a superstition that a bad dress rehearsal leads to a good concert. A bad dress rehearsal leads to people practicing and panicking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before panicking and practicing and making sure they know their parts better, and then all of a sudden at the concert it rises to the occasion. Jamestown is better at that than any band I've ever had. That they go from terrible to fantastic. They'll be playing really well through the whole program, and I'm thinking, this is trouble because I'm feeling comfortable. Like we have 3 rehearsals to go, and everything's running really well. What's going to happen? Like one missing person, someone goes in for eye surgery or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Right,
you never know what's going to happen,
and
it just throws the whole thing off. Like we had one percussionist in this concert arrived and had coffee for supper or something. Was very excited, and for the first couple of numbers was overplaying like everything, not necessarily in the tempo.
It was supposed to be done. Yeah,
but I wouldn't consider ever losing that person in the percussion section because for him that's one of the biggest parts of his life.
Oh yeah.
So we needed those kind of folks on there. The audience seems to not mind. We had a lot of tech things in this last thing. We had a coffin racing across the stage. In fact, I'll put the link for the coffin races. Is quite an interesting set. Jason gave me the blessing to put it on public, so I'll put that in the right at the beginning. You'll see a coffin going across the stage, was appropriate for the coffin race, and then you'll hear a theremin, which isn't in the original score. So I checked with the composer to make sure that was okay with him, and he said, "Are you kidding? I love theremins. That's a great idea. Please." And he couldn't. Right. He had just heard our version of it, and he was thrilled by it.
By the way, if the composer is listening in any way, shape, or form, It's a great earworm piece. I have not got that out of my head. Just it goes on and on and on. It keeps going through my head.
Is this a song that
never ends?
It
is. It's a wonderful piece. It's a fun piece.
So we'll put that down. We're promoting that, and eventually Jason will come on and talk about it too. And some of the other works that he's done. He's doing a lot of commissions too. And I wonder if he's doing commissions for. It's a lot more profitable, I would imagine, to do it for schools. I think some of the people, when the composers in the conservatory are thinking about doing music, my music, this is how I want music to sound, and very few other people often like that.
Right,
and so they, in their lifetime, they don't sell it or get it played very much. But if you have one hit in a school band or school orchestra or school choir, it sells tens of thousands of copies. And that's where the money is, the satisfaction of you've really impacted people's lives. I always fell on the other side of that balance, that it wasn't more sophisticated or better to be super different. You need to push the envelope a little bit, but know how much to push the envelope. So we're back into talking about repertoire, selection of repertoire.
Right. Yeah.
And we're about to start working on the holiday music. And with our band, like everyone else, who's listening live, which is no one's listening live, just us are listening live. But you all know what happens with that. And then we'll reload and do all the spring concerts, put those in line.
Not to go off on a tangent too much, but we were...
I think this whole show is a tangent.
Maybe it's a tangent, yeah, I know. Discussing with my wife the Christmas music and the holiday music, stuff like that. And it's funny, every year... you get it and you look forward to doing it. It's like old friends.
And there are required pieces that you have to do. Yeah.
But then as soon as the holiday's done, they're gone.
No,
and you don't care.
I don't want to see it for a while. No.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, that's the snowed out Christmas concert.
Yeah.
Do it in January.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't work.
It just doesn't. Just don't do it. Like, it's not worth it.
But, when you play it now, this time of year, coming into the holidays, you say, it gives you a warm feeling. And great memories. And
so the surprise for me, we got off in a couple tangents with you, but the surprise for me has been the variety and the success that we've had with it. It's been really remarkable. It's what we kind of hoped would happen, and now it has happened, and we're anxious to embark in this third season and get going. And I think we're at about that time that we could wrap this one up. For some reason, when the two of us are on, just the two of us, they have been among the more popular episodes. I'm not sure why, but we're anxious to have a bunch of great guests for this season, and we'll look forward to catching you next time. But in the meantime, just keep on playing.